Alright guys, what's going on? My name is Christian and welcome to another video. As always, before I get started, can we aim for like 200 likes today? Please do hit that like button, it means the world to me, and leave a comment in the comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy these videos and want to see more of them. So anyway, today's story is kind of a crazy one, and I'm sure there's someone in the comments gonna say, you say that about every video. Well, maybe I got some crazy stories, I don't know. I was at my friend's house, and okay, let's call my friend, we'll call him John. So, John was really into smoking. Like, smoking was just kind of his thing, and whenever I went to his house, I knew there was like a 50-50 chance I was gonna end up smoking with him, right? Just because, he would do it, and then, he'd be high for the next like hour or so, and then I would be like sober, and so for me, it was like, you know what, I might as well just smoke with him, and then we'll both just have the experience, and then we'll both be normal at the same time. And so it wasn't a big deal. And I mean, like I said, I had known this kid for a while, and yeah, so I got there, and that night started with us going to the gas station, right? So he had a car, and we'd always drive and get snacks whenever I showed up to his house. Anyway, his parents were split up, and he actually ended up living with his dad, and like I knew him even when his parents were together. I had hung out with him both times, and things were a lot more chill when we were with his dad, just because like when we were at his dad's house, his dad was usually gone, and we could pretty much just do whatever we wanted. And even when he was there, like, he was super lenient. Like, he didn't give us bedtimes or anything. We could do pretty much whatever we wanted. And so he really enjoyed living with his dad, and I enjoyed hanging out at his dad's house. And, that's primarily the reason why. Anyway, so on this particular night, his dad was out, right? And it was just me and him, and we were playing Xbox, and I want to say about like an hour into that, he pulls out the weed, right? And he's like, "You down to smoke?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, why not, dude? Like, let's do it." And like, at this point, I wasn't like super into smoking. Like, I had done it less then than I even do now. And so I was like, I had a super low tolerance to pot. And so whenever I smoked at this point, like, cause I was smoking maybe like once every other month or something. So at this point, like, I was getting messed up whenever I would. And he was like, "Hey, this is like one of my strongest strains." And I was like, "Are you sure I should like smoke that?" And he was like, "Yeah, no, it's fine, dude. Don't even worry about it." So I was like, "All right." And he's like, "Do you want to really get messed up?" And I was just like, "I mean, yeah, I guess so. I just like, I don't know. I just want to have fun, but like, I don't want to overdo it." He's like, "Yeah, no, there's like no way you could overdo it." So I was like, "All right, let's do it." So he pulls out his pipe, or whatever you call it. I assume it's just a pipe. Like I said, I know there's people out there that smoke a lot, and they're just like totally cringing at my terminology here. But like, I don't know, I'm not a smoker, so don't get on my case. But he pulled out his pipe, and he loaded it up and everything. And he took the first hit, of course. And, I want to say most of the time he would take like 2 or 3 hits and then give it to me. And so I would end up getting like burnt stuff or whatever you call it. And then, but on this occasion, I obviously got some of the greens, and so that was nice. And I took a hit, and it was a pretty big one. I want to say this first one was pretty big, and I blew it out, and then I gave it back to him, and then he lit it and took another one. And he was like, "Do you want to go again?" And I was like, I mean, yeah, I mean, like, why not? You know what, I'm gonna do it. So I took another one, and I took a really nice long drag again, right? I got a lot in there. And then I blew it out, of course, and handed it to him. He was like, "Dude, there's still plenty left. Like, do you want to take another one?" And so I'm sitting here like, I don't know, like maybe not. And he was like, "Dude, just go for it." And so I went for it, and I took another long one, and then I gave it back to him, right? And so I want to say about like 15 minutes later, I started feeling it, right? I was kind of going through, for me, like, I don't know if I have a unique type of high, but I just like imagining stuff, and like, I don't know, like, that's just me, and like focusing on my different body parts and stuff like that. And so it was kind of a cool experience. And then as soon as he was done smoking, we went back to Call of Duty, and I was eating like a lot of food, like a ton of food. And so anyway, this kid, I want to say about 30 minutes later, he pulls out the pipe again, and I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?" And he's like, I want to smoke more." And so I was like, dude, there's no way I'm smoking anymore. Like, I was done at this point. And he was just like, oh, dude, that's fine. Like, no problem. I'll just smoke this one. I was like, okay, you better not put enough in there for me too. And he was like, no, don't worry about it. Because I was enjoying myself. Like, I had taken plenty, and I was like the highest I had been like probably in my life at that point. And so I just went back to playing Call of Duty. And he started smoking, right? And then out of nowhere, like I want to say 2 puffs into this second one he loaded, we just hear a really deep voice. What is that? That's all we heard. We just heard, what is that? And then he puts down the pipe, right? He puts it between his legs right after he had just taken a hit and kind of puts his legs together, which was also where the bag of weed was. So he puts his legs together like that. And then his dad walks in, right? And his dad's like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh, nothing. We're just playing Call of Duty and like eating snacks, right? I'm just sitting here because like I'm not doing any of this talking. Like, this is completely up to my friend John here. And so John's like, we're not really doing anything. And he's like, what's that smell? And then John's just like, what smell? And he's like, I'm not a dumbass. And so my friend just like right there, I could tell just shit himself because he knew his dad knew what was up. And so his dad's like giving him this kind of like staunch look, right? And he's like, first of all, you're smoking pot. Second of all, you're doing it in my house. And he's like, Dad, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Like, we were just trying to have a good time. And he's like, you know, I probably wouldn't have been angry if you guys had done it outside. And then John's like, yeah, I'm sorry, Dad. Like, that was stupid and everything. And at this point, John is just like crazed that his dad isn't like freaking out because he wasn't like really sure what his dad would do if he found him smoking pot. But then his dad was like, all right, let me see it. And so John opens his legs. He gives his dad the bag of weed. And then he gives him the pipe, and his dad was just like, you know, I used to do this back in high school, right? Like when I was your guys' age. And then John's just like, no. And I'm just sitting there smiling. Like, I don't even know why, dude. Like, I'm just sitting there with the biggest grin on my face because for some reason when I'm high, I just think everything's hilarious. And I just think that this happening is the funniest thing. So I'm just like got that like big ass Joker grin going. And then his dad's like, what kind is this? And then John goes on to like kind of tell him what it was. And this next part, let me just say, is completely insane. So his dad walks around the backside of the couch, right? Meanwhile, I'm still just like playing Call of Duty, right? Like I'm still just going at it, kind of starting to eat the snacks again, like I was pulling chips and everything. And then his dad sits down on the left side of John, right? So it was like a 3-seater couch. I was sitting on the right side, John was sitting on the left, and his dad comes to sit down. And so like John kind of scoots over and he sits down, and his dad's like, hey, get this ready for me. And he's like, seriously, Dad? Like, really? And like, I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, his dad is literally about to smoke with us. And so he gets the weed, he puts it in the thing, he hands his dad the pipe and the lighter, and his dad just goes for it, right? His dad hits it twice and then puts it down. And when he took it, he was like coughing super bad. Like you could tell this guy had not smoked in a long time. And so he puts it down and he's like, damn, it has been a long ass time since I've done that. And he's like, yeah, I could tell. And like, I don't know, it just makes me wonder like why his parents got a divorce. Like if his dad is like chill with this stuff, I don't know if they had like a parenting issue. I have no idea. His dad ended up smoking, and he's like, all right, guys, well, I have some shit to do, so I'll talk to you guys later. But seriously, if you're going to smoke anymore, don't smoke in the house. Like, it's just, I hate that smell, and just take it outside. And even though, like, he just got done smoking in the house, but, you know, it was kind of whatever. And so John and I, like, we dodged the bullet. Like, as soon as his dad left again, we talked about it, and we were like, oh my God, that was crazy. And even John was like, that is totally not what I was expecting. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this video, please hit that like button. It really means a lot to me, and leave a comment in the comment section below. I love you guys so much. I will see you tomorrow, and peace.